Welcome to the May meeting of the Utah Valley Technology and Genealogy Group. We're glad to have you with us, whether you're here live or whether you're watching this at some point after the meeting. Welcome you. Our opening prayer today will be given by Jerry Castillo, our membership chairman, and my husband.
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful for the opportunity to meet this Saturday and to talk as a group about things genealogical and helpful to our family research. We're grateful, Father, for our speaker and pray that God bless and be with her this day as she presents. May we have a blessing of understanding of these topics and that we might embrace the things we're taught and use them to better our search for our family. We pray this humbly in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Jerry. If you would just send us an email, if you did not get your newsletter, we have just become aware that the newsletter might not have gone out to everybody on the membership list. Just let us know and we'll shoot you a copy of that. Okay. Our main presenter today is Marie Alexander. We're really thankful to have her with us today. And her topic is, as you can probably see already, enthusiasm for youth in Family Search Center activities. So today, Marie is going to be sharing with us some of her 17 years of experience helping youth at the Lindon Utah FamilySearch Center. She'll be presenting activities, videos, games, etc., that have helped youth enjoy family history. And our second hour presentation will kind of go along with us. It will be Scott Hill presenting the app he's developed called the Family History Escape, just so you can be thinking about that. All right, Marie Alexander was shown the love of family history by her parents and grandparents since she was a child. This love has continued throughout her life. She and her husband, Denton, have 8 children, 26 grandchildren, and 1 great-granddaughter. With her husband, she served at this Lindon Shared Stakes Family Search Center for over 17 years. I believe that's a 6-stake family history center. And she served for 4 years as a family search support missionary. So we'll turn the time over to you, Marie.
We have a problem, Laurie. Marie dropped off during the middle of her presentation of your introduction.
Oh, shall we hang out a moment
and she is not online with us momentarily.
Okay. Well, just to remind you, go ahead and put your questions. If you're watching on Zoom, put them in the chat. If you're watching on Facebook, be sure and put them where the questions go there. We'll probably be addressing those at the end, so Marie can give her whole presentation. One of the things that that you might want to know as watchers of family history videos or presentations is that generally it goes better if we take the questions at the end, because as presenters, at least myself, when I present, I have my class in an order that builds, and probably I will answer your question before it's all over if you give me a chance. So we like to just wait for the questions at the end. Does this mean that Marie's back with us?
It does.
I think so. I don't know how I lost it, but I clicked on something wrong.
Well, we've introduced you and we're glad to have you, and we're all ready to go, and the time is yours.
All right, let me see if I can get my screen back to where I can see the chat. You're welcome to put the to chat, put a comment in chat as we go along.
I informed them that you would likely just want to take the questions at the end, because maybe you'll be answering their question as you go along. So
absolutely. And this is not a highly technical class, but something that is dear to my heart. I missed the introduction because I clicked on something wrong. And I've been a family history consultant, and served at the Family History Center for over 17 years. And during that time, we have served in the evenings when we had youth groups come. So we've had a lot of variety of youth groups and ideas come and be developed over the years. I've served with Carol and Scott, and we'll both highlight a little bit of some of our experience in our Family History Center. So Family History Center are branches of the Family Search Library in Salt Lake City, Utah, operated by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The centers supply resources for research and study of genealogy and family history. The purpose is to bring families to the temple ordinances. So the Lindon Shared Stake Family History Center has 6 cooperating stakes, and it's in Lindon. We have enjoyed working there before the remodel. It used to be a very tiny little couple of combined classes, and because we had such good response and a need, really, and because our directors were making such good reports to the family search, we were able to get our center remodeled. And right now we have 24 computers. Most of them are touchscreens and new Dells. Most of them have dual screen monitors. One computer has photo editing software and photo storage. There are a couple laptops available. We have a high-speed photo scanner, flatbed scanner, slide scanner, copiers, and printers. There's awesome book reference materials. There's a photo box, and as well as a projector and screen, and a TV for presentations and classes. One of the greatest blessings and it's great. The Family Search Portal is just an awesome thing to be able to access. The portal gives us access to images, records, and third-party software that we wouldn't have available at home. And for some people that are not members, it gives them access that they wouldn't have at home at all. So this is a picture of our center. It's kind of broad screen. It's a wonderful center. It's not as large as some, but very high participation. But mainly our focus on this class is youth activity nights. When the youth groups come to our center. Different directors have handled this different ways. Right now, our director schedules each ward in all 6 stakes. They have one evening which they can bring their youth group. We have had some huge youth groups this year, often filling all 24 plus computers, or sometimes we have to put brothers and sisters together on one computer for the activity because we've got such large groups. One thing we found in doing family history youth groups is that treats or prizes are essential. Kids have, that just makes it a lot more fun to have a treat, a prize. We've had everything from had them set up a refreshment in the cultural hall or kitchen to having donuts and hot chocolate. Right now, our game has a candy. So they have a candy every time they complete a task. And so our rooms, this room, which I showed you empty, is full on these youth nights. Usually every computer is full. Usually we have family history consultants. We have 8 wonderful, very highly skilled family history consultants on our team. We usually ask the wards to bring their family history consultants with them, that they will know the youth and will participate with those youth. We also try and get the young women, young men leaders to get down and do the activity with them. A lot of them, sometimes it's the first time they've been to the Family History Center or Family Search Center. Usually they bring a member of the bishopric. We try and get those members of the bishopric to sit down and do the activity. Or if they're very well versed in family search, get them to be a consultant to us one-on-one with the youth. We right now we're doing one of 3 printed activities. One of the young men says, "Oh, this looks like a lot like homework," and so one of the consultants sat down with them, and it became fun. Pretty soon he was engaged. And in the activity, we have bottles of candy. They finish their first challenge. They get to come and get a piece of candy, and they get to ring a bell. The directors put a big bell at the back of the room. It makes a lot of fun. It makes it so that everybody gets a little attention. They get to tell a leader what they learned from that challenge. Sometimes we have large groups that are too big for a Family History Center, and we have to divide them. We have done things like treasure hunts, where they've had to go from room to room to find hints in records. We've put up laptops or other computers in rooms to have the opportunity that the youth can all keep busy and keep going during the activity. We have some wonderful leaders. Our director will come with great enthusiasm. In fact, we call it the rah-rah moments, when we bring together a group and we start with a rah-rah moment. Why are the youth here? Why do they even care about family history? Why do they care about memories and photos and documents? Isn't that for the old people? And we are emphatic that it's for them. They're the generation. One of our activities we have at the Family History Center is 2 escape rooms. It's a series of boxes. Of course, we don't lock anybody in a room until they answer the questions, but it usually is a group of 6 to 8 youth, and they have, you can see the brown book is a compilation of resources or records which they have to use. They have is a timed event, and sometimes they race against another group. Like they would have a young men group, and they might divide the young men into 2 groups and see who can escape from the room the quickest. It really is, these escape rooms really are what you would call family history research. It introduces the youth to real records, a real storyline that Dana and Cindy Hendricks put together from their family, a real research problem that they had, and they found that there was really a missing child in that family. And they had been kind of bothered that there was some missing person in this family. And through this research, they were able to find this missing child. And so it gives the kids a mystery and a challenge, and also an opportunity to look at real records, real census records, real birth records, death and marriage records, to help them figure out the combination to the lock on the box for the next hint. It's also mobile, so that the youth can be able to check it out, take it to youth activities, even family activities. Another fun activity is our consultants put together wonderful opportunities for our youth to, to get excited about family history. Brother and Sister Drake from our team put together a full, and I'm just going to show you a little bit taste of this activity, where they talked about the Hawaiian tradition of kahuna. The ancient Hawaiian people kept no written records. Their written language was limited to petroglyphs. Yet, with such limitations, they still functioned in an extremely hierarchical system of power, primarily based on genealogy. A person's connection to royal blood could only be proven by meticulous knowledge of their family tree, dating hundreds of years prior. The names of the ancestors in a lineage were thought to hold immense power for those who knew to call upon them. In order to keep track of this vital knowledge, all names had to be memorized and passed on. A system of verses was developed. It became an art form known as the ole chant. Within them was buried a record of the history of the land and the lineage of aristocracy. Because ranking in Hawaiian society was based on bloodlines, the chants were important to link an individual to their powerful ancestors. The political, social, and economic system of Hawaii was based on ole. In ancient Hawaii, words and names held power. Each name in a genealogy chant carried mana, or spiritual power, of the ancestor. All names were linked by birth. The longer this link of names in the chant, the more mana. The accumulation of power, which was sacred, could lift a person to the ranks of the gods among mortals. If you didn't know your lineage, you were a nobody. Joseph Fielding Smith said, "It doesn't matter whether your computer is able to compile all the family group sheets for everyone that ever lived on earth. It remains the responsibility of each individual to know his kindred dead. Even if the work is done, then it is still each person's responsibility to study and become acquainted with his ancestors." So he kind of wraps up his little presentation with this great secret. The Emory University researchers found that children and teens who know their stories about their ancestors, especially how they overcame life challenges, had less anxiety, less depression, less anger, less substance abuse, higher self-esteem and self-control, higher sense of autonomy, higher sense of meaning and purpose in life, and much more resilient in times of adversity. And then he wraps up his activity with the writing a family story. And each of the youth go into Family Search. They find the basic information about a family member, and they write the story and include the source. It's amazing how many details you can get just by looking at a census record, or a series of census records. So here is Samson Chenoweth. He found out about the sons and daughters of his ancestor and 4 younger siblings, his family, that he was a pioneer, and his occupation. At Roots Tech, they've come up with, they have a new software called Story. It was so interesting. They take this basic information that you can find on family history records, and they can create a story for you. It's incredible using AI. So this is the final thought of Brother and Sister Drake's presentation. While temple and family history work have the power to bless those beyond the veil, it has an equal power to bless the living. By incorporating these thoughts and quotes from our general authorities, it helps the youth bring them back, knowing that this is important in their life. In addition to activities and lessons that our consultants create, there are many inspiring family history videos in the LDS library, in Family Search Help and Learning Center. So one thing that we did for our youth was when we gathered together, we would start with a prayer, or if they had gathered together as a youth group before and had a prayer and a little meeting before, we would just invite them to gather around the screen, bring their rolling office chairs close to the screen, and see an inspiring video from either the media library or the many from classes and videos in the Help and Learning Center at Family Search. Family Search has the videos from present and past Roots Tech, including some of the family events that they held on Saturday. And it's fun to share it. The videos have everything from they're entertaining, but they're also educational. There's also many classes if you want to learn more about a specific subject. The Help and Learning Center has just been renovated, and they have done such a good job rewriting the knowledge articles. And I talked to one person, she says, oh, they're so hard to find. And so I walked her through finding an knowledge article, and she says, oh, this is much easier than it used to be. And I agree. The Help and Learning Center is been greatly improved, but we don't want to ignore those classes and videos that are available for us to use in our youth meetings, and maybe to introduce a subject that we're going to work with at a Family Search Center. True disciples build, lift, encourage, persuade, inspire, no matter how difficult the situation is. And one of those difficult situations is that that youth come to the Family Search Center, and they come without their username or password. It usually happens 2 or 3 out of a group of 20 or so do not have their either don't have their Family Search account set up. Their parents set it up the night before in preparation for the activity, and the youth doesn't know, they forgot their password. So that's the most difficult thing. The biggest challenge we have is helping these youth recover their username and password. For this, we're really grateful for the new knowledge article that take us step by step. We have to contact their parents a lot of times to help them recover their their username and their password. And another big challenge is sometimes they set up their family search account and they don't put a recovery option. They don't have a email or a phone number. For this, we have to contact the Family Search support line to get assistance, adding that recovery option, unless we can get a hold of the parents, they can get on the computer, they can manage their youth accounts from their churchofjesuschrist.org account. That is the best way. So over the years, we have enjoyed a lot of creative ways to help youth connect to family search. One of them is by fairs. We have had several really fun fairs. Food, creative ways to do food. We've had, like I said, donuts, hot chocolate. We found that we don't have food in the Family Search Center except for our candy game right now. We can set up a table or whatever in the cultural hall or out in the foyer, and the kids can have food. Cute ideas that attach the kids to what is going on in their own culture. So Star Wars, the Wookiee family tree. That was a clever idea. I really enjoyed that. And having a Wookiee cookie, why not? Let's make it as fun as we can for these youth. If they're eating, they're not talking too. Sometimes that's the second biggest challenge, is that they'll get next to a friend and they'll start visiting instead of focusing on the challenge. Sometimes they just help their youth groups. And one thing we have found lately is that more wards are getting ward youth consultants, and they're doing an excellent job of helping their youth to youth, one-on-one. So we have had several fairs at our Shared Stake Family History Center, and it has been involved everyone from little children to youth and families, totally. One activity we have is at our center is the dolls. The dolls each have a story, and the children that are participating can dress the dolls and read the stories that go along with the dolls. Coloring is, fun for them. Decorating is a lot of fun. Making it fun, colorful, having lots of computers, different stations where people can go to find out about the BYU technologies, games, and they can find out, they can get one-on-one research help with the consultants. They have specialist tables for different countries. That comprises one of the aspects of our fairs. Another aspect of our fairs is drawing the interest. One year, when Coco came out, we had a display on Day of the Dead. And we highlighted Find a Grave and old dresses from the past. We had one year where we talked about immigration. I mean, that was kind of the theme, immigration. With our fairs, we've also had large meetings, adult meetings, that involved the adults and youth, but mainly the adults came to the evening meetings. So having a variety of things to do and a variety of food. Food was one of our biggest budget items when we did a fair. And we also had the cooperation of Family Search. We were able to get some of the computers that they have in storage, and they were able to let us use some of those. So back to our family history environment at the Family Search Center. There are, you can see at the back, there are some books, some volumes of information. We used to have film and fish. We've gotten rid of we put away the film and fish readers. We still have them, they're in a closet. We still have our film that the church didn't, or the Family Search didn't want back. We still have a few people that actually use them. But for the most part, the people that come to use our center, I would guess most of the numbers that use the center are youth. We have the other times of the day, we have them staffed. We have a few people come at a time. Sometimes relief societies come and use the center for an activity. But I would imagine that if we counted up all the people that use the Family History Center, just by number, the greatest number of people that use our center are the youth. So we want to bring youth to family history and family history to the heart of the youth. We want to have a place prepared for success. We want to have activities that actually build skills. We want to challenge the youth. We want to engage them. We want to have fun, and the escape room is a really fun way to do that. We have friendly consultants and leaders, and of course, prizes, food, treats, and our fabulous bell that the kids love to ring. So with our activities, we do want to make these not just fun, not just food, but have a purpose of developing skills. These youth are our future in family search and in family history. So we want to develop skills. We want to develop a connection of the youth, between the youth and their ancestors. We want to trigger their curiosity. What is going on in the people's lives in the past? Part of that is doing the games in the activities portion of family search. It always, whenever we do a youth group, we almost always have, a third of them maybe, that just whiz through that activity and get through to, and don't have anything to do. So we direct them to the activities and have them do the faces and the where they have the dress. Anyway, you know, the activities. Somehow that brings an adventure part of family search. When they want to seek out, discover, it is an adventure. Having a game such as the escape room, having other games like the treasure hunts is also, it just triggers the adventure part of it. Connecting with the youth leaders to the youth, connecting the youth to the ancestors, and then the Roots Tech theme this year, uniting. We want to unite youth and bring them to their ancestors and bring them to the gospel. So we are blessed to have the technology to go forward to bless our ancestors, no matter where they were living. We can work to search them out. The prophet stated that the last dispensation had come, and the words of Jesus are now in force. Go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature, setting for the restoration of the gospel, the great work that had commenced on the earth. I can't think of a better way to help prepare our youth for missions than helping them understand family search and their ancestors. There is neither man nor woman in this church who is not on a mission. That mission will last as long as they live. And it is to do good, to promote righteousness, to teach the principles of truth, and to prevail upon themselves and everybody around them to live those principles that they may obtain eternal life. So I've kind of created my own mission. I am a family search support missionary and serve on the phones, helping people solve their problems with family search. A big part of our service is helping people recover their passwords or set up new accounts. Also in finding ordinances that are not available. Also, we have people do get their records ready so they can do temple ordinance work. I also serve in the temple, and this kind of connects everything together. And then we're serving in the Family Search Center in the Lindon Shared Stake Family History Center. Anyway, that is a lot of fun, and that kind of rounds out my mission that I feel is almost a full-time mission, which I really enjoy. So I hope that we can bring these youth here, teach them about family search, and help them go forth to serve. The whole earth, a man filled with the love of God is not content with blessing his family alone, but ranges through the whole world, anxious to bless the whole human race. This has been the 12 in England, feeling and caused you to forego the pleasures of home, that you might be a blessing to others who are candidates for eternal life, but strangers to truth. And for so doing, I pray that heaven's choicest blessings may rest upon you. I ask God in the name of Jesus to cause that his word may speedily go forth to the nations of the earth, to the accomplishing of his great work in bringing about the restoration of the house of Israel. So as we connect the generations, as we bring them together, the youth are the glue. They're the center both. They're the next generation. They're the ones that are going to maintain this. Many of us, we're at the end, but we have to pass this on to the next generation. Okay, so I've kind of covered what I would like. I'd be glad to take some questions or comments, or even if you have had experiences helping youth in family history, I'd love to have you share it. We have quite a bit of time left.
Marie, I have a question.
Okay, Carol.
Can you hear me? I really loved your picture of the youth in the center. So thank you for all those pictures. I know they could get really busy, right?
Yes,
Um,
and we can thank Dana and Cindy.
Yeah, they
Cheers.
were really good. Hey, I was just wondering though, I saw one activity, one of the girls was holding up like a chain, paper chain. Do you remember what that was activity was about? Like what they did?
Yeah, oh, I was there, but it was a while ago.
Oh, it was? Okay.
But they cut off, they had a way to do a Christmas chain, but they had
Oh,
ancestors and they connected them together and glued them together. It was
okay.
a lot of fun. They had that night they had some other crafty type activities going besides the chain. I think they had a tree that they could write their ancestors on the branches, that kind of thing.
Uh-huh. Did they like use Family Search for that too, or did they? So they went on the computer and then, okay.
Yes.
That sounds
A lot
fun.
of times, a lot of the activities start with some kind of a format or a handout. The one we're using now is a handout, and they follow the step by step and go through the challenges. So most of our activities start with something we can pass out to the youth that they can physically hold and follow the step by step.
Okay. Is there an example of one of those or like,
I didn't bring any. They're at
oh,
the
okay.
Shared Stake Family History Center. Todd Millette has made 3 new ones. I did make a binder that's in the file there at our center that has activities in it for youth, children, youth, and I've kind of collected ideas over the years of things that have come through the center so that we can kind of pull that binder out and get some ideas if we have a group coming.
Yeah, I know you've done this so long. You're the expert at all of this. So, but
Well,
we did have a question online if there's a way that you could share some of those activity pages. I don't know, would you have to like copy those or like how would?
I didn't really come prepared to show them.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is to get 3 or 4 challenges, such as using the how am I related, or famous people that you're related to, or finding how many children does a family have, or who had the most children, or finding your face, who looks most like you in that activities section. And they just write those challenges down. As the kids do it, they put in the little answer. And so over the years, I've seen so many created. The most fun, the ones that are most fun are the ones that were new, that were created for like the ones that we do this year are make the old ones seem kind of outdated,
So you use activities quite a bit on the Family Search then, like the compare phase. Okay, and kind of challenge them. That's nice to use.
We do. We use the youth activities. Sometimes we've been on an activity using the BYU Labs activity.
Oh, right.
Also, Jonah and Charlotte Barnes were at Roots Tech. I know that this is very teeny tiny, but it doesn't matter. There are a lot of publications out there for Turning Little Hearts. That's the name of this book, is Turning Little Hearts. But there are other publications out there that help, that you can get ideas to create your youth activities.
Yeah, those sound really good. Yeah, thanks.
That Hawaiian one was really interesting. My husband's uncle served in World War II, and he met a Hawaiian. He was stationed in Hawaii and married a Hawaiian princess, and she couldn't immigrate because she was royalty. They wouldn't let her immigrate
Oh,
to the United States.
Wow.
When they did that presentation, that activity, it was very interesting to us.
Yeah, so that's an idea. Get other members to share some things like that. Huh? That's a good idea. Have them come. So we did have a question. How can we help motivate our temple and family history consultants to engage more with the youth?
You have to get the right ones called for those youth activity nights. I mean, our youth, we've
Right.
with, like you, Carol, we worked with so many, Patty, just some really great consultants that are really excited about working with youth that also have family history skills. Some of the leaders that help staff our Family History Center like working with adults. They'll only work with adults, and they staff it during the day. They're wonderful. I think our director makes sure that we have a well-staffed Tuesday and Wednesday nights so that we can work with youth and have an excitement for working with youth.
Yeah, well, you always have. You've done a great job. Hey, there was one more question on Facebook. Did you use the family history guide at all for any of the activities? We have used
the family history guide.
Okay.
Absolutely, it's wonderful. We have used Roots Tech.
Okay. Yeah.
And we've used there used to be more videos in the Church of Jesus Christ.org library. There used to be a lot more videos. Those are now in Family Search Help and Learning.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah, the Family Search Help and Learning is a wonderful resource. In fact, there's been times when we've had groups just show up and they weren't scheduled. And so we didn't have a plan in place. We hadn't worked with the youth leaders to know what they wanted. And we just throw a video on, they're 2 or 3 minutes. We talk to them about, have they ever been to a family history center before? Do they knew who their grandparents were? And we just get them going. We get those rah-rah moments going, and pretty soon the kids are engaged in family.
Yeah. Well, thank you. You've done a great job. And like you said, that bell was always really fun. I remembered the bell.
The bell's still there.
Really fun.
Marie?
So I think we might have other questions. Yeah.
Yeah, Marie,
Okay.
I noticed Dawn posted a question in the chat.
yeah, I've been waiting to get that in.
Do you want to voice your question, Dawn? While he's unmuting himself, let
I
me
can
read you what
read it.
Can you? Go ahead.
He
Yeah.
says, how would Family Search Centers start to build such a program? And how do you get consultants who are knowledgeable to do all of this? First of all, our directors of our Family History Center are fantastic, and they're pro-youth. They have put a lot of time not only into staffing our Family Search Center, but in getting consultants staffed in the evenings for the activities, communicating with youth leaders in the stakes and wards, and so it just kind of builds. So we've kind of we've got new consultants coming in, and we kind of do a few activities, and pretty soon they are very excited to participate in the activities with the youth. Did I cover that, brothers?
Well, the question is really, how do you get started on something that you've got a 6 stakes that you're drawing from? Could a single stake do some of this? And how do you find people who are knowledgeable to begin with? That's part of the problem.
There you go.
You might have to, in the beginning, you might have to invite some people in from outside to help you, and show the consultants. Like in my particular, I come from a 4 stake setup in Central Orem, and we have no training. I don't even know who's in charge of the History Center right now. I haven't heard from them in years. And I've been a consultant, for like 20 or 30 years here. And they never have training for the consultants in any of the wards. And so in this area, it's really hard because the consultants, unless they're avid genealogists like myself, they don't really have much experience. And a lot of consultants are unwilling to learn anything that doesn't have to do with their own family history. I mean, I experienced this. I've been at BYU since 1991 as well. And one day I was about to teach a class, and somebody said, well, what's your class going to be on? And I told them what it was, and she goes, well, oh yeah, I don't need that for my family history. And I thought, neither do I, but if you're going to be a consultant, you have to be willing to learn things beyond your own family background, And so I think somehow you have to create a willingness and also a feeling that a can-do feeling in the consultants, and having some training maybe ahead of time alone, where you kind of tell them some of the things that you do and that are successful with the kids before they actually just get thrown into the middle of that, would help them feel more comfortable.
Absolutely. One thing that our directors have worked hard over the years is to involve the stakes and wards, especially it has been like pulling teeth, but they are working to get those stake high councilmen that are over the stake family history, the Relief Society, Stake Relief Society presidents over family history, to get engaged. And then when our director invites an individual ward to come on on a special night a year ahead to participate in the Family History Center, sometime when they were starting that, it was like pulling teeth. They really didn't. We had some just fall through. But once they started coming and they found out that the family history consultants would do all the work and engage their kids in a very active night of fun and candy, then it's just kind of snowballed so that we have much better participation. Further questions? So I think it does start with the director, but if you don't have a director, it's got to start with the stakes and wards. If the stake president and his counselors realize how important family history is to the youth and to the future of the church, they can become engaged. It's hard. Where do you start? It's
tough if you don't have leaders that are behind you and have our testimony of it.
That's so true.
I've been unfortunately in that situation most of my adult life with the leadership and it's so hard when even the members and the youth don't see that that's an important thing to the leadership. So what I tried to do, I used to be the Stake Family Records Extraction Director when we were creating the IGI, many moons ago. And what I would do, I made a personal appointment with each bishop in the stake. And I talked to them about it. And I asked them, what are you doing with your ward members as far as family history? And just kind of tried to give them a feeling for where we were, what we're trying to do. And the kind of people we would like to have them call to, assist in that program, which is essentially morphed into indexing at this point. And I think it was really helpful, and every time a bishop would turn over, because I was in charge of that for about 3 years, and every time a bishop would turn over, I'd wait about 3 weeks, and make myself an appointment with them, figure they needed to get the word all nailed down first, but just talk to them about that and try to let them know how much spirit could come into the home of somebody who was willing to participate in this stuff. And I don't know, but the thing is, what sometimes the leaders, they'll call people in their wards to be genealogy consultants who won't do anything else, but they don't seem to find out whether they have any training, whether they have any ability, or whether they have any desire, and if you're lacking one of those, then you can't be really a very helpful consultant unless you have a personal commitment to it. And I think too that since we've switched to this where we don't have a Sunday school class time for family history or anything like that, most wards I've seen seems to be struggling with, well, what do we do? How do we handle family history now? And I haven't seen them doing really effective things with our youth, but I think in our youth, maybe the what do you call it, the escape room thing, that might, because I think in my ward you're going to have to entertain the leaders.
So one thing that our stake is doing is they called a couple. Now this couple did not have any family history skills. They probably they're gaining them slowly, but they were dedicated to serving, and they set up quarterly family history consultant meetings in our stake, and they just invite the ones of us that are consultants to present to our stake consultants once a month. I think they're learning about family search and family history, but because they're committed to leadership in the stake, they're willing to do what it takes to get family history consultant training going on in our stake.
So I guess what we all need to do is really pray about getting people called who have that willingness to learn.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't have the skills already, they need to at least have that willingness to learn. And
our ward family history consultant lead in our ward meets with our youth family history consultants once a month and has refreshment and ask them what they're doing in their youth groups. It's accountability and my word, enthusiasm. I think we can spread enthusiasm for youth.
I do too. They're quite capable. I actually like working with youth. I heard you say that there were some people there who don't want to work with youth, but the beauty of working with youth is when you explain something about the computer, you only have to do it once.
Sometimes the things you have to explain to a senior, you explain it to the youth
over and over.
It's intuitive to them. It's right.
I love it. Well, I work, I'm a consultant I'm serving a mission at BYU, and so the people I work with down there, a lot of times it's students, and they're so sharp, they're really great. But one thing I just like to throw in, I know we're about out of time here, but I was walking around, I sometimes just walk up and down the rows of computers because we have loads of them down there at BYU at our giant family search center. And I was sitting there, I could see this person just sitting there, and I could tell that I don't know, my impression was ask them if they need help. And they go, Yeah, I can see where all these things are on the computer, but I don't know what to do with them. It was a BYU student.
I'm on
And the
it.
thing is, you know, sometimes you hear over the pulpit in general conference, don't help the kids because they know computers better than you do. But that's not true. I mean, they might know the computer better than some of us do, but they don't really know what to do with it. And so they kind of need to be shown the sequence of doing things, or
Mhm.
how you build a case, or whatever you call it. You know, I personally consider myself a family investigator, so it's like a detective show. I grew up watching Perry Mason with my mother. Okay, so, you know, I mean, when you think of it that way, it's like a family investigator. It's kind of fun. And I could just say that, oh, sorry, I didn't start my video. I could just say that, what was I trying to say there? I have been able to find out so many things about my family that I never thought I would, or that I never thought I could. And
I know we're way over time, but I wonder, a question I had, and maybe it'll be answered by Scott Hill in the next class, is you had several different colored boxes there that you referred to them as escape boxes. Is that a sequence of, were there 7 different boxes, or is there, what do colors represent?
Sequence. So you start with the first hint, and Scott will cover this a little bit. So I don't want to take up his time.
Yeah, okay.
But
All right. But I wondered if there were each different color was a separate box, or was it a clue in that box? That
it's
wasn't
probably
clear
just to
from what
keep
you
it
said.
straight, you know, so you don't.
Yeah, Scott will tell us more about it.
each box have a clue. Each box has a lock, and the clue to solve the clue that gives you the number to open the box.
And get the next clue, right?
Okay, so the colors are in the sequence. Okay, good. We'll learn more about that in the class. Good, thanks.
We have youth activities like this down at BYU. We have that you can make a group appointment and do down there as well, just so everybody knows that. Okay, well, thank you very much, Marie. And we hope that we all have, I guess we all have plenty to think about and to hope for and pray about in our cases of our own wards. And thank you for those ideas. And it would be really nice if we could get a look at some of your ideas to somehow, maybe you guys will post them on, I don't know if you have a website, but anyway, thank you so much. And we appreciate you being with us. And I would just like to say to everybody to give us a couple of minutes here. Those of you who are on Zoom can stay online. Those of you on Facebook will have to end your session and then come back. So we'll restart for the next presentation with Scott Hill on some of the very thing we've been talking about here with the escape room in about 3 or 4 minutes. Thank you very much.